Hi everyone, welcome back to Aidans Railways. As you just saw in that little clip at the very beginning, you'll have seen this Lima Western Hydraulic, Western Enterprise, that's D1023. The Western's probably one of my more favourite diesels of the nostalgic era, if you know what I mean. As a child, I remember my father had a Lima Western Gladiator in the maroon, and it was wonderful. It was that loco, that particular model, could pull anything. It was unbelievable. I have fond memories of that particular model. A while back, and I mean a good while back, I purchased two Westerns, Limas they are, Western Enterprise and this one, Western Pioneer. I might actually collect them because I really do like these Westerns. They're good for their era anyway, for when they were built, these models. Anyway, both of them ran like absolute dogs. In fact, they barely ran at all. Now this one here, I had the pair of them out after I did the running session the other day, and I put this one on the track and it barely ran. So I've had that one to pieces. I've given it a service and I've put new traction tyres on it. In fact, you can see one of the old traction tyres just sat there in the box. It was almost paper thin. But this one's still, if you can hear, now this one's moving. That was barely moving. This one is moving, but it sounds rough. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly take the body. Well, I say quickly. I'm going to try and take the body shell off as rapidly as I can. Quickly show you how to do that. It's very easy if you haven't done it before. Then I'm going to remove the actual motor bogie from the chassis. I'm going to remove the two traction tyres, replace them with two replacement traction tyres, and I'm going to give the mechanism a bit of an oil, because I have the distinct feeling that it'll be bone dry, because by the sounds of it, it sounds bone dry. So I'll move on now just to quickly remove the body shell. Very similar to the Hornby Class 47s and 37s. Let's see if we can get that to focus in. There we go. You'll see there's a locating hole, and there's a locating hole, and this here is also a locating hole. You can just see it moving there. Yes, so this here is actually a locating part as well. And you can see there when I lift it, you can see how it would locate. All I'm going to do is open it up, move that bogie so it doesn't get in the way, and then just leave the ruler there just to help release that top end. And I'm going to do the same at this side, because I really don't want to apply too much pressure. Once that is released, it will hopefully start to come away. And this side started to move out already. And then that side's gone. Right, so now that's gone, it's just the other side. So you can just lift the body shell slowly, whatever you do, be slowly. There we go, and it'll just pop out. There's nothing to it, there's no screws. There we go. Now be careful when you do it, because the ballast, the weight for this model is a rather chunky piece of steel, and it has got some real weight to it. So I'll put that to one side. Nothing to it in these. You'll recognise that. All the cogs almost the same as your Ringfield motor. Same bushes, everything like that. I'm just going to have a quick look down the back there. Those bushes I can see from here are perfectly, I don't even have to take them out. You can see they're absolutely solid. But that, if it'll focus in and you can see, is bone dry. And you can see it's bone dry. So before I start oiling it, in fact the traction tyre on this side and that side, they look terrible, these traction tyres. So I'm going to whip them off Well, I'm going to rip this cover off here. Now that's this dead simple, really simple. So it's dead easy to remove this. It's just 2 screws. You can see the screw heads there. When you take that off, this whole plastic section will remove, and you can take the whole motor mechanism out the top. And I'm only going to do that just to make it easier for these traction tyres to replace them. So there you go. And you can see it just pops straight out. Now, unlike Hornby, these don't clip on, they're soldered on, these wires. So I don't want to be taking it all to bits. I literally just want to change these traction tyres. So what I'm going to do is, yeah, now look at that. Let's have a look, see if we can focus in. There we go. Look at how thin that is. In fact, it's more thin on one side than it is on the other. And they've really degraded. So I'm going to take that one off, and I'm going to take the other one off. Now, before I actually put the traction tyres on, I'm just going to have a little, just running it down the rolling road. And you can hear it screaming and things. It's not very happy at all. It's not best pleased with itself. Yeah, it's absolutely bone dry. So I'm just going to lightly tap some oil into some certain locations, very similar to when I did the tender for the Silver Link. Basically, we've got a central cog here down the back. We've got these 2 outer cogs and these 2 inner cogs, which then in turn go onto the wheels cogs. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there, and it is just a little bit, mind. A little bit on this one and on this one, just a little bit on each one. And don't drown it, whatever you do. And then one on there. Right. And then I'm going to let the motor do the rest. I'm just going to let that circulate around a bit, and then we'll come back once it's been running for a few minutes. Okay, so that's been running in both directions for quite a while now. Doesn't seem to have any problems. Definitely sounds considerably better than it did before. So I'm quite happy with that at the moment. What I think it's time to move on to now is putting the traction tyres onto here. So these are from Peter's Spares. This is the PS80. There we go. If you want to pause that, if you're after any, there's the web address. And those are, and these are good for the Hornby and the Lima. This particular size anyway. So I'll get 2 of these out. So these can be a little bit fiddly. In the past, I've used the tiniest amount of washing up liquid because, and I do mean the tiniest amount, if you have a problem where your traction tyres are just spinning on the wheel, everyone assumes that washing up liquid's like a lubricant, where it also acts as a sealant. Quite a good sealant as well. It's almost like glue when it dries. When you ever changed a pipe on a washing machine, it's always best to just rub a little, smear a little bit on your finger around the rubber seal before you attach it to the pipe, and it'll stop it from, it acts like glue. It's brilliant. So I've just changed those traction tyres. I'm not going to put it on that rolling road because I know for a fact that rolling road can be a bit greasy. So dropping the motor back in is that simple. Flip it back over and then reassemble this plastic piece, and all I have to do now is place the screws, which I haven't lost, back in. And these were quite tough when they were coming out, so I've got a feeling that these are probably, there's a good possibility they've never actually been out before. Right, so before I put the body shell back on, I'm going to put this onto the track that is still down, and I'm going to have it go and do a few circuits. So join me back in a second. Right, so that's been spinning round on the track now for a little while, and it seems to be perfectly fine. So all I need to do now is put this body back on. So not forgetting to put your weight back in, otherwise you could end up having to take it all apart all over again. It can be a little fiddly because obviously the weight wants to drop in. So all I'm going to do is place it on, widen the body just so I can get this centre piece ready, and as soon as I've done that, one end has already dropped in, and it's just down to getting this side. So if you just widen the body up like we did when I was taking it off, and it's back together already. That's it, all back together. So let's put it back on the track with a few coaches that I left out from the last one, and let's see if it's any better on the, let's see if it looks any better and sounds any better and runs any better, all back together. So I'll see you back down on the floor in a second. As you can see, it's definitely running better there. Yes, it's definitely running better. So I'm going to attach it to these coaches here and let it go around a few times, and I'll leave you with a little bit of video of it travelling around the track. I just thought I would share it with you because it's something that I probably wouldn't have got out of the boxes to show you. They are one of my favourites in the diesel category. They were bone dry, as you heard. This one here was screaming. It was definitely not worth trying to leave them go like that and trying to run them anymore. So I hope this might have helped you. It didn't involve an awful lot of work. You didn't have to strip down the whole engine and things like the motor and everything like that. It was just a very quick lubrication, let it run in a bit, double check it. If it needed any more, give it a bit more. If it didn't, just leave it the way it is. Less is more, but always check it. And those traction tyres were just a very quick changeover. It's running beautifully. So hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you liked it, like it. If you've got any comments or questions, get in touch in the comment section. And if you haven't already, subscribe. In the meantime, I'll leave you some video of this running around with 4 random coaches. And hopefully I'll be back soon and with another video. See ya.